Hi everyone, and thanks for joining. It's Patty from PS Paper Crafts, and I wanted to show you how to make this pretty Christmas card. These are red birds. I'm thinking they're cardinals. They don't have that little pointy thing on their heads, but I think they look like they could be cardinals. But anyway, I'm using the Beautiful Trees dies, and I'm cutting out this tree. I already cut it out, and then there's the two birds, and you get two with one shot, so it's pretty cool. I'm not using the stamp set that goes with it. I decided I wanted just to have a Merry Christmas, and I found one in For Unto Us. This is a fantastic stamp set if you're a Christian and celebrate the Christian Christmas. It has some really beautiful sentiments, but I really went through my stamp sets, and I do that a lot, and I just look for something that will fit in this spot, and then I ended up using, I love this, sharing with you the glory, wonder, and miracle of this holy season. So that's the stamp set I use, because I really wanted to make it a Christmas card. I am using the Beauty of the Earth Designer Series paper, and you know, as soon as I saw this paper, I thought sky. So I use it for sky, but there's a lot of fall. You can actually cut out the tree and then cut out the top with these, and it's really beautiful for a fall card, but I wanted to make a winter card. And there's some really, I think this would be great for Christmas as well. And then this one, or for, you know, winter card, you could do snowman or something like that. So let's get started. I'm using a thick basic white card base, so I have that behind. I've already cut out my tree and my birds and my piece of designer series paper, but I did some embossing. Now you can leave the tree like this. I like the snow with this packed snow look, but I did emboss this as well with a timber embossing folder. So you can leave it plain or you can emboss it. And then I think this should be embossed. I like the tree both ways. So I am going to emboss it just so you can see how it looks. And for this, you can cut the mountain, the hill, with the inspiring canopy. There's a few dies that you can just cut it. But if you don't have this, I did cut this one that way, but this time I'm just going to fussy cut it. So I have just a small, this is 4 inches wide. And you can just cut a small hill, just, you know, cut around and make it like a slope. I mean, you know, that's not anything scientific here. It's however the snow falls. And you could cut it down if you didn't like how it came out, and if it's a little rough, it will smooth out once, well, not smooth out, it'll pick up the embossed look. So I think that's okay. It's a little different. So let's do our embossing. I figured I would do the cutting and then I'll do the embossing on here right now. So I have my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I'm using just the base plate, and then I'm using, this is a specialty folder for 3D embossing folders. And the one I'm using is this hammered metal 3D embossing folder. And I use this for snow quite a bit in the winter. I think it's really perfect. I know it's hammered metal, but I think it's snow. So there you go. So let's just put this through, and then we'll put this plate on top and run it through. And when you do your embossing, you want to have the fold go through first. Oops, that's a loud one. So see, I had it go through this way with the fold. So we've got our snow, and you know, again, you can or don't have to. You might be able to even emboss it with this. It might be a little much, but I'm using the Timber 3D embossing folder for this one, just to give it, and it would be nice to not get all the branches, but I think that might be too hard. So I'm just going to lay it here. I kind of wanted to get this knot right here in kind of the center, but it really doesn't matter. It's just going to pick up wherever it is. And then we're going to send it in this way, put this on top, and send her through. Very easy. I'm waiting for it to pop. There we go. All done. So let's just put this aside. Let me put this over here. And then when we open it up, you have your embossed tree. Now you could even put a little bit of color on here with a stamp pad if you wanted to get some color, but I like this, you know, we're in the snow, it's snowy white kind of thing. So we're going to put this here, and then we want to stamp this, and I like to kind of line it up, get an idea. We'll stamp it up here. So I have my stamp mounted, the Merry Christmas. I'm using the Versamark watermark ink, and we'll just put this over here. And if you have one of those embossing buddies, you can wipe it off and make sure there's nothing on there. You don't want the oils from your fingers on it either, but it seems to be okay when I wipe it off that way. And we just want to stamp this down. Now you can barely see it. I don't know if you can see it. I can. And we want to cover this up. And let me just get a sheet of paper here, because I always end up, even though I put my embossing powder in a container, I always end up with little crumbs here and there. So I just have my white embossing powder, and I'll pick this up and just pour some over it, and then you'll be able to see where it is. And I like to do it a couple of times, make sure it's all covered. Do a little bit of flicking. That's very pretty as well. See how it looks. If there's pieces, you can just rub them off, or you can get a, I was going to say a toothbrush. That wouldn't work very well. A paintbrush, and just, you know, wipe off any excess. Because when you do use the heat tool, it will melt it. So you want to make sure there's no excess. But this looks okay. So I'm going to turn this on and heat it up. Okay, and to make sure it's done, you just want to make sure the whole thing is shiny. So just turn it around. I did hit it a little bit from the back because it does warp it a little bit, but it's not bad. And this is thinner than cardstock. It's a good weight designer series paper. It's not too thin, but it's definitely not cardstock. So let's put this down, and because it's a little warped, I want to really make sure I get my adhesive all around it. So I'm going to go across, and this is my stamp and seal. You can use liquid glue, but just make sure that you're getting kind of all sides. I found that if you have gaps in it, sometimes you see that warpedness on it. Is that a word, warpedness? So we're just going to put this down, try to get it straight, and look at every corner, make sure it looks even. And then just put her down. There we go. Okay. And then we want to use some glue to glue this down. And I'm going to put it up a little bit. Make sure it fits behind here. Okay. So I just kind of line things up as I'm going. So let's get some glue. And you can use either side of this. Both sides have kind of the embossed look. So I'm going to just hit it with some glue. And I want to go all the way out to the branch ends because I want it to really lay flat. And I'm really just barely touching it. I don't want a lot of glue on it. It will dry clear, but you don't want too much oozing out. And if you have a silicone mat, you could do it on there. I just figured I would hold it and kind of run all the way out. So there we go, we're almost done. It is pretty delicate, so just be a little cautious with it. I didn't get these pieces. So just go out. Whoops. I'm getting caught on it. All right. So now we are ready to put it down. And I want to make sure it's not hanging over the side, because I don't want it to get crushed in the envelope. This will go up here. That looks okay. And just very carefully press everything down. Now sometimes when I do something like this, I used a big block and just put her down. Now on this one, I put it down flat. I did not use dimensionals. I used dimensionals on the birds. So I'm going to do the same thing. If you wanted to pop it up, you can. But I think there's like enough texture on it that it doesn't need to be popped up. Okay. So we'll get that over here. And we'll just go right to the corner, straight across. And we've got our little snowy hill and our tree. So now we want to put the birds down. And I used my mini dimensionals. If you don't have mini dimensionals, you can just cut up your ends of your dimensionals. It's so funny because the ends of the mini are so much thicker than the ends of the big ones, which I just think is funny. I don't know why. So you can just cut these if you wanted to, but I'm going to use the minis. And the birds face two different ways, so that's nice. And we'll just get these down. And I just put one on right in the middle. So we want this guy facing the other one. I should make one more in an orange for the female, orange brown. I love cardinals, but I really think the females are prettier. I know in animals, the males are usually prettier, but I love that brown with the orange head. I mean, I think the red is very striking on the males, but I do like the females. There we go. Okay, so that's done. The next thing we'll want to do is, if you want, put snow. So I'm using the Subtle Shimmer Sequins, and I'm just going to lay them out. And I'm using my take your pick tool. There's this little putty end, and I'll just lace them out and then I'll put them down. I kind of like to get an idea, and oops, I didn't even pick it up. So let's see. We'll pick that one up, and I use the other end of this. It just pulls out, and put it down, and then I'll use these for gluing. And I really want the white. There's some silver, but I want the white. I want it to look like snow. So I'll just go through. That looks good. And now what I'll do is I'll just glue them down, and I'll speed this up as well. So I'm just going to take a little dot of glue, pick it up, put a little dot down, and then I'll just do this. Okay, so that's done. Let's put this back in here. So this one you can, oh, put it this way. I don't know why that's not working in. There we go. So you can get the spatula or the point and take it out, and then this you can unscrew, and you can put that brush in for poking out things, and you can replace this. So it's a great tool. So we have the outside done. Let's do the inside layer. So I have a layer, even though it's white, I like to have an inside layer just so that if you make a mistake, you're not ruining your whole card. So if you were to just stamp on here and it didn't come out right, then you could cover it with a layer, but I like to just start with the layer. So I will use Misty Moonlight. That's one of the colors in this paper. And I think it's, part of this blue. And we'll just do the same sentiment. You could do whatever sentiment you want. And I didn't really decorate too much in here. You could put a piece of that blue, but I didn't really have much with the stamp set. It's mainly words. You can pull in another stamp set if you want, but you see, so I'm going to use that star. So there's plenty of stamp sets you can choose from. I just wanted to stick with one stamp set for this video. So I'll put this little star up top, and then we can put this in the card and we're all done. Pretty easy, but I love that paper. There you go. I think it's really beautiful, and I love, the winter time with the cardinals on a snowy tree. I think that's just perfect. So let's make sure this is dry. Sometimes my blues are a little bit, take a minute to dry. So I just put this on the inside and the card is done. Very pretty. Again, I think that blue is just very striking. There's something about it. It looks like a winter sky to me. So there you have it. Thanks for joining me. If you want any of these products, you can go to my online store. It's on my blog, pspapercrafts.com. I'll have pictures, instructions, the products you can purchase to get this. And if you like this, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for joining. Bye.